Okay, we'll go ahead and get started. I call this meeting of the special board meeting for Coachella Valley Unified School District to order. If we could start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Gonzalez, would you like to lead us in the pledge? Edgar's not here. Roll call. Okay, Dr. Esparza, could you call roll?
Yes.
Thank you.
Board President Vargas.
Here.
Board Member Gonzalez. Board Member Garcia.
Present.
Board Member Arredondo.
Present.
Board Member Tortes.
Here.
Thank you.
Do we have to call board member, even though he's not here?
Board Member Acuna.
Okay. Moving on to 3.1, filling of the board vacancy. So I'll go ahead and just read the background information, and then we'll go ahead and get started. Under the provisions of Education Code Section 5091, when a vacancy occurs, the board has up to 60 days to make a provisional appointment or order an election for the position. On July 24, 2025, the Board of Trustees authorized the appointment of a provisional trustee to the seat vacated by Trustee Paz in Trustee Area 2. Applicants were instructed to submit a CVUSD Board of Trustees provisional appointment application by 5 p.m. Thursday, August 7th. And today we'll be interviewing 3 candidates that were eligible for the open seat, the vacant seat for today. So we have the following candidates: Antonio Aguilar, Araceli Beltran, and Alina Calimanes. So the process, what today will look like, we'll invite the candidates up. Board members, you have a packet, and so we have there are questions that we'll ask the candidates. Since there's 5 of us, we'll each get a chance to ask a question. So maybe we can start on this end. So Mr. Gonzalez, if you'll start us off with question 1, and then we'll just go down the line once we start with the candidates. Okay. So we're gonna start with the first candidate. Do you have a comment?
So we need to take roll call for them. They will meet out, wait outside, and I will go get them to come in and conduct the interview.
Okay.
So is Araceli here? And Ms. Alana? Okay, so the candidates will be outside. I will get you for the interview. I'll go get Mr. Antonio.
Okay.
Madam President?
Yes.
Just have a quick question. So will they have like an intro statement and a closing statement, or will we just go into
Yeah.
questions?
We can do that. Maybe we can give them each 2 minutes. 2 minutes for an introductory comments, and then we'll start with the questions. Maybe or the standard 3 minutes, and then okay, and then the closing remarks. Hi, good afternoon. Welcome. So we'll start off. So maybe we can do real quick introductions, but we'll start off today just giving you 2 minutes to introduce yourself once we go through the introductions. And then we do have 5 questions that I believe you have a copy in front of you. And then we'll do closing remarks. So if we can, Mr. Gonzalez, if we could just introduce yourself. Yeah. In your trustee area.
Thank you for having me.
Valerie Garcia, I represent Area 1.
Thank you for having me.
Jocelyn Vargas, I represent Area 4.
Thank you for having me.
Trini Arredondo, and I represent Area 1 as well.
Thank you for having me.
And we have Mr. Tortes on Zoom.
Yes, hello, my name is Thomas Torres, and I represent Area 3, Salt City and Oasis.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so we can start off. You have 2 minutes for opening remarks, and then we'll go down the line with the questions.
Sure. Can I do a mic check really quickly? Can everyone hear me? Good?
Yes.
Okay.
I think so.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for having me. My name is Antonio Aguilar, born and raised in Thermal, California. Attended the original Oasis School, was the first promoting class from Taro Canyon Middle School and the second graduating class from Desmeralge High School. I attended COD for a few years before transferring to the University of Redlands, where I graduated with a bachelor's in government and a minor in public policy. Came back to the desert, where I joined the team for the Office of Congressman Ruiz for about 2 years, left to LA, came back and decided to pursue a master's in higher education from the University of Redlands. Started working at COD in 2019. After I obtained my master's in higher education, I decided to move on and pursue a doctorate in education. After studying education for 5 years, got a little bored, so I decided to pursue teaching, but that required me to go get a second master's. I decided to get that in political science, so I teach political science at College of the Desert. As of today, I accepted a position in the dual enrollment department at College of the Desert. That's the program that offers college courses to high school students. As of yesterday, I accepted a position to join the governing board of the Dr. Carrion Foundation. I'd like to consider myself an active member of the community, someone who is interested in advancing the mission and vision of the school district in public education. I have friends and family that work in this district. My mom worked here for about 40 years before retiring. Her last position was in the purchasing department. So I'm old enough to remember when this was a group of portables all connected loosely, and the floorboards would creak under you as you walk from one department to the next. I don't know if that's 2 minutes or not. I don't see it.
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So we'll go ahead and get started with question 1, and we could start on this side and just go down the dice. Oh. Yeah. No.
That it may have been a good idea to actually give them some time to think about it, but I'm going to go ahead and ask the question.
Sure.
I think more important than this question, obviously, you coming from a strong education, public policy background, you understand what the purpose of a Board of Education is, right? I'm going to assume that's a quick answer, but I'm probably more interested in the question. I'm going to ask the question that's on there, right?
Sure.
What do you believe the role of the governing board is, the Board of Education is? And then also Antonio, you kind of described a little bit about how you understand the area, and obviously you're back here, right? You've done a lot of studying, you prepared yourself. What is the motivation for wanting to take the time to participate in an organization like this, especially with all the challenges that you probably have heard about in recent history?
I'm sorry, Trustee Gonzalez, we're to give everyone a fair chance. They did provide us with questions, so I apologize.
Okay.
So we do have question 1 in the packet.
I have questions and I read it.
Oh, okay. Oh, thank you.
Yeah, so I'm just going to ask the question,
Sure.
and I'm going to stick to what we're doing here today.
Okay.
Obviously, I have another question.
Not a problem.
But the question is, what do you believe the role of this board is, what the governing Board of Education is here at CVUSD?
Yeah, so I think it's first important to remember that the board has one employee, right? And that's the superintendent president. They are charged with hiring that superintendent president. Secondly, I firmly believe that they're in charge of guiding the long-term vision and stability of the institution. So if you take those two things into consideration, they're charged with ensuring the long-term stability and ensuring that policies and procedures are followed. They have to then obviously hire a superintendent that they see fit to fulfill those duties and carry out the mission and vision of this institution.
Cool, thank you.
All right, thank you. Next question. What do you see as the strengths of the school district and its areas of improvement? So it sounds like two-parter right there.
Yeah. Strengths, I would definitely say it's diversity, its location. We live in a vast area, but also a unique area. We serve a large immigrant population, and I believe immigrants are the backbone of this country. Our diversity, I believe, is also a strong suit, and I believe it's our students that make us strong and unique. And it's that uniqueness, I believe, that also attracts some superb talent to come to make the drive out here. I have the opportunity of commuting to Palm Desert every day for work, and in my commute, I see, every day teachers driving from far away, whether it's coming down Jackson, coming down Monroe, coming down the freeway. And I had the opportunity in high school to have some teachers that would commute all the way from Cat City, from Palm Springs, and outside the Coachella Valley. And in their circles, and they would admit to me that they're constantly asked, why? Why do you make that drive all the way out there? And they would say, it's the students. It's the students and how humbled they are. So I would take that answer and just, circle back to, I think that's our strength, our students, our diversity, and that's what allows us to attract some superb talent to come out here and teach for this wonderful district. Areas of improvement, not to sound too critical, it's not lost on me that the district is constantly in the news for our budget woes. I think that's definitely an area of improvement.
Thank you. Question 3, what is the relationship between the Board of Education and the superintendent?
I would circle back to my first response. The Board of Education has one employee, and that's the superintendent. So in that relationship and understanding that that's their only employee, I firmly believe that, the board and each individual member is charged with then holding the superintendent accountable to make sure that certain policies are enacted, the mission and vision, goals that are set are enacted, asking for proactive updates to make sure that work is getting done. It's the constant day-to-day. The board has one employee, but the superintendent has to maintain these relationships with each individual member, constant communication, making sure things are getting done.
Question number 4, how does an effective governing board ensure opportunities for parents and community members to express their diverse range of views to inform the board on important policy issues?
This is a great question. I think it starts with showing up. As someone who constantly watches and tries to keep abreast of what's going on in the community, it starts with attending board meetings. It starts with asking questions. It starts with being curious. And as if I could stray a little bit, but I'm going to circle back. In teaching political science for College of the Desert, every first class session, I tell my students my why. And my why was this. Growing up in unincorporated thermal California, I always ask myself, why don't we have paved streets? Why don't we have fire service? Why do we have to rely on the county for everything? That made me a very curious individual. I always started to ask questions. Why don't we have this? Why don't we have that? Why is it that I drive 15 minutes into Coachella and I see street lamps, but in thermal, it's pitch black dark? That made me curious and made me want to ask questions. And I think that's how parents and community members can express their diverse range of views and inform the board, by showing up to these meetings, by asking questions and holding their elected officials accountable.
Mr. Tortes, would you like to ask question 5? For the sake of time, I can go ahead and answer ask the question number 5. But can you hear us, Mr. Tortes?
I can barely hear what, I think you're asking me something.
Yes, if you like to, just for the sake of moving forward, I'm not sure if you were able to hear us, but just want to make sure that you can. If you'd like to ask question 5.
Oh, okay. So question 5, as a board member, how would you ensure that you stay up to date on issues affecting the district and public education as a whole?
Thank you. This is a great question. Working in higher ed, Jocelyn knows this more than anyone, and those that work in education know, we're subscribed to listservs, and we get emails all the time. What assembly bills, what bills on the federal level are being enacted that are going to affect education. I'm a subscriber to the Chronicle of Higher Education, so it's constantly reading, it's constantly going to conferences, so that you're well connected and knowing what's going on in the state, on the federal level, and how those policy issues trickle down and affect us on the local level. But it also requires us to be active members of the community, showing up to public events, asking questions, meeting the superintendent for coffee, meeting with each other, meeting community members for coffee, a cafecito on 6th Street, asking questions, showing up, and being engaged, but more importantly, willing to listen with an open heart and an open mind.
Thank you. So the last question, if you have any questions for the board, this would be a moment to ask those questions.
So the question I see here, what questions do you have for the board to help you prepare to take on this commitment if chosen? If we have time, I'd like to ask each one of you, how did you acclimate yourself into this role? It doesn't have to be a long response, but one to two quick things that you did that you found that made you successful in this role, in no particular order.
Yeah, maybe we can have two board members. Ms. Garcia, would you like to add?
Certainly. So to begin with, as soon as the board agenda comes out, print out the detailed version and read that one, because you're not going to get enough background. Then you'll have if you formulate questions, go from there. Otherwise, it's not enough information you really need to know. And ask questions. It takes a bit to acclimate to parliamentary procedure, all these different things that are going on within us. So ask questions. I was lucky enough to have like a buddy form very early on, and I was able to kind of get my bearings earlier on than I think I could have otherwise. But yeah, the detailed view makes a big difference to begin with.
Thank you.
Trustee Gonzalez?
Antonio, thank you for being here. Thank you for seeking the position, obviously with the intent to help. And I can tell you that the most important thing that we can do, maybe I can tell you this way, there's an old saying that says, nobody cares how much you know unless they know you care, right? And obviously, you having those bearings, what's relevant, how you grew up, asking the simple questions of maybe the shortfalls of the community as it relates to infrastructure or services. I think you have that base. You also have a technical training. You took the time to prepare yourself. And more important than all the stuff we learn, right, it's being compassionate, right? And making sure that as a public representative, that you know that your moral compass is in place, that you don't serve the union, you don't serve any special interests, you serve the children. And that child that is least able to defend himself, that family that is least able to defend himself, is your responsibility as an elected official.
Thank you.
Thank you for the question. For me, I quickly met with the superintendent and tried to meet with the superintendent right before every board meeting, so my questions are answered. If I have questions, or sometimes just getting more information, so that when we're out here on the dais, I don't have to ask the questions out here, but we're asking and getting information. Also, just meeting with our colleagues.
Thank you.
And asking those questions even amongst ourselves. So, thank you.
Trustee Torres, is there anything you'd like to add?
I would just like to reiterate thanks for Mr. Aguilar and his interest in the position. As you know, it's dire that we need somebody in this position. immediately, and I see that you're from the area, went out, and you're one of the few that have gone out and got the education and now is willing to come back and contribute to the community. Um, that's pretty much all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. I think for myself, definitely just being open to kind of that long-term learning. Day one, we might not know everything, but we also don't know everything day, 300 and something, right? So I think every day being open to learn and the criticism and open to listening to other folks, I think is probably the biggest takeaway, I think, for me, and just being able to, sit up here and make the hard decisions. Thank you. Do you have other questions?
No, in closing, I would just like to say thank you. You all show extreme courage in showing up every month, twice a month, sometimes more. Being in the public eye is not easy. Dr. Esparza, it takes a lot to relocate and come out here. But I think it speaks volume to your dedication to our community, our students, and speaks volumes to you wanting to help. So thank you all for making time, and that's all I have.
Thank you. So today we won't be making a decision, but we are interviewing the other candidates, and so we'll be doing that today. And then I think the next board meeting is when we'll be making that.
Sure.
Oh, yeah, this Thursday, we'll be making a decision on the position.
Okay, but you'll notify the candidate before in case they,
I think everyone's supposed to come and show up, right? We won't be making the decision beforehand. We will be making a public decision.
in person. Got it, understood. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, so I think our next candidate, we have Araceli Beltran. That's pretty good, 30 minutes. Hi. Hi, good afternoon, Ms. Beltran. Hi.
Hi.
Sorry. So my name is Jocelyn Vargas. Thank you so much for joining us today. What we're going to do in terms of what the process looks like, we'll do quick introductions, just trustees. Will share their name and the trustee area that they serve. We'll give you 2 minutes to give opening remarks, and then we do have 5 questions that you have in front of you. And then we'll allow you to ask any questions you may have, and we'll close out the interview. So we'll go ahead and get started. Trustee Gonzalez.
Sure. Ms. Beltran, my name is Jesus Gonzalez, and I represent Area 2.
Hello, I'm Valerie Garcia, and I represent Trustee Area 1.
Jocelyn Vargas, I represent trustee area 4.
Aguilar Redondo, and I represent trustee area 1 as well.
And we have trustee Tortes on Zoom.
Hello, my name is Thomas Torres, and I represent Area 3, Salton City, and Oasis.
Thank you. So we'll go ahead and give you 2 minutes for opening remarks. Allow you time to introduce yourself.
Well, my name is Araceli Beltran. I'm just, a citizen from Terbal. And it's nice to meet y'all.
Okay, thank you. Should we just go down the line, Mr.
Sure, we can do the
Gonzalez?
same thing.
Yes.
Araceli, there's some questions in front of you, and the first question, I'm going to read it. And it basically says what you believe the role of the governing Board of Education is. And I guess I'm asking you if you understand what the role of this dais is, or what this group is that you're signing up for.
Yes, so I believe the role of the governing board is to offer direction for the school district. So what to prioritize, where to go, like what things to emphasize more on the curriculum, or not curriculum per se, but education, who to hire that's going to be able to reach that goal that the board has. I do not think I've served in boards before, and I think sometimes the people being served will think that a board or a board director's role is to micromanage the employees of that district. And I don't think that's the case. I think that there is a structure and system in place, and the board is simply there to make sure that is being followed and just offer direction, not be human resources. So just that's what I think it is. I think it's also the job of the board to listen to the community it's serving and make sure they feel heard and not dismissed. And to advocate for that community, like state level or federal level, to make sure that the students of the communities they're representing are getting all the resources that they can get, and they're not being shorted by policies created like at the state level or federal level that will impact them disproportionately because of the type of community they are from.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next question, what do you see as the strengths of the school district and its areas of improvement? So two-part question. Thank you.
To not keep it too long, I will say what my favorite thing is that the district does, and that is champion like the culture of the communities that it serves. Instead of, and by that I mean celebrating culturally competent holidays that are important to those communities, and kind of know that those students might be, or those families are celebrating certain holidays and be amenable to kind of structuring itself in that way, or creating events that honor those festivities, and I really like that. Where I think the board could improve is maybe in like working with its perception, as in how the community perceives them, by increasing how communication is handled. I think, nobody has ill intent, really, especially like in these positions. I'm sure people give their time because they believe strongly in, making a difference or advocating for the students in that community that they're representing. And I think many times people can feel very passionate about one way or another, and they might, become hostile, not because they're bad people, or accuse, people of things that maybe they didn't do because there's just no adequate communication that portrays kind of like why things were done a certain way. Or the acknowledgement of like, hey, our intention was good, we made this decision didn't pan out how we thought it would. And that's just kind of part of governing and making decisions and acknowledging when things didn't work. And then, owning that and moving forward. And I think that's something that could be done. I think not any of you, but many times I've seen like maybe some people get defensive because they're personally attacked, and that's understandable. But it's just kind of like as leaders, right, as representatives of community, I think it's very important to always overcome that, and just not take things personally, even if somebody is yelling at you or is very disgruntled. I mean, I myself in the past have been like threatened with like they were gonna burn my home or whatever, but I understood, right, that this person is maybe having a mental health crisis, maybe they feel like their identity was attacked by a certain decision made, and just being very empathetic of that and making them feel heard, even when they're saying like very negative things to you directly.
Thank you. Question 3, what is the relationship between the Board of Education and the superintendent?
I think that relationship should be based on respect and trust, and trusting that they're going to carry out the direction of the board. But again, it's never to kind of micromanage how they're handling the job or accusing them of something. If, let's say, a parent, or maybe you are personally negatively or perceived negatively as being, I like my own words, even if you perceive that some actions or how some things are being handled were negatively impacting you or people close to you, maybe, not becoming like distrusting of them not doing their jobs, follow just the trust and respect, and the respect part is making sure to just follow protocols if you are unhappy with their performance. That's what I think. So I just think it's like should be open communication, respect, mutual respect, and trust.
Question number 4. How does an effective governing board ensure opportunities for parents and community members to express their diverse range of views to inform the board on important policy issues?
Well, I think first and foremost is providing a space, which, y'all do during board meetings for people to voice their opinions. But I think even more would be establishing like a stronger online presence to collect more diverse feedback from people who maybe can make it to the board meetings for either having hurdles to get to like here because of transportation, or maybe they have to cook, or maybe they have to take care of the kids. So I think just having I know that y'all now broadcast the board meetings, but just having maybe a collection of opinion or experiences from the community via online would be also helpful. I think, maybe a couple years back, it wouldn't have been like a good way to kind of engage community because of the discrepancies with technology and technology literacy. But nowadays, like everybody at least can operate a TikTok, so I think they can fill out like any opinion form intake that the board distributes if they feel so strongly. And then, of course, like just send that follow up with having some type of meeting to make sure that they didn't just submit those opinions and they're just laying around somewhere, making sure that these are presented in maybe a board meeting or some type of presentation or maybe a social media platform to create that also transparency and accountability that all these intakes are taken seriously.
Thank you, Mr. Torres.
Yes, thank you. Question number 5. As a board member, how would you ensure that you stay up to date on issues affecting the district public education as a whole?
So one way is like doing what I've been doing now, and like the reason I kind of got out of my comfort zone to come here, given the current political climate. I think the federal government has an attack on public education and using funding to do that. And so I think it's just keeping up with like federal, with what's going on federally, what's going on at the state level, what's going on county level. And making sure to advocate where possible. If maybe a policy state level is written in a way that's going to disproportionately impact rural communities such as ours, maybe advocate before it goes into effect, make noise. But also, I do have like a science background. I believe in reading a lot of research from trusted journals that have to do with just public education and how certain economic decisions are going to impact those communities, especially like communities like ours, versus urban communities or more condensed population communities or districts. So I believe in doing all of that, but also I believe in talking to the youth and getting their perspective. It's like how they feel about the school system. Do they feel valued? What made them feel unvalued? Not in this district per se, but I talked to maybe some youths up in the Bay Area at some point, and for this particular students, they felt unvalued because their AC system wasn't being fixed for like months, right? So it comes up as things like that, like sometimes little things can have a big impact. So that's how I would stay up to date as a board member, which would be maybe more aggressively than as a regular citizen, but that's the general kind of skeleton of things. Yeah.
Thank you. So last question, what questions do you have for the board to help you prepare to take on this commitment if chosen?
So my question to y'all is, as board members of the school district, what do you see as being the most important, I don't want to say obstacles, but maybe hurdles or things that, the most important things that the board should be focused on this coming year? And how would what you would expect from the new appointee to help you achieve those goals?
Trustee, Mr. Gonzalez?
We follow this.
Okay. Good question. I think this next school year, we still have a lot going on with our budget, and unfortunately, we're going to need whoever jumps in to really jump in and learn where we are with our budget, how we got here, and how our plan is supposed to work so that we're getting out of the hole that we've been in. And I do believe that what you've been saying about the community communication, that's going to be very important. It's not just us having the plan, it's us making sure the community understands our plan 100%. Otherwise, we just seem like we're lording over the community, making wide sweeping decisions without any explanation, and I don't think that's right. So I think you've touched on some interesting points that are absolutely there. We're gonna need somebody to jump in with us, learn really fast, ask all the questions they can, and then help us make these decisions and continue on the course of decisions. So thank you for this question.
Yeah, my advice, if you're chosen, would be that you understand that you're a public servant, right? That you don't work for any special interests. You don't work for any one group, that you work for the person that can least defend themselves, which is the children. And the most vulnerable children are probably and should be the most important. And that, I think, if you come from a place of compassion and love, and you care about the kids, not a conversation about adults, but a conversation about what's best for our children that come to the school district, that you're gonna be a good servant.
Mr. Arredondo?
Thank you, Madam President. I think the budget is first and at the forefront of, what we're thinking about as a board, is making sure that our district, that our funds are put to the best use, and that we have a good budget to implement our different sort of components that we want to, in our strategies, right? I think making sure that students, teachers, staff have the supplies that they need, but overall looking at our budget and making sure that we continue to improve our budget so that we're not deficit spending. So I think that's important. As far as my goals for this district and this year is always to continue to improve our test scores, right? I think we're getting there, and I think that we hopefully will continue to improve on the things that we're doing well. So thank you for the question.
Mr. Tortes, is there any comment on the question?
Yeah, I think the priority in the next year would be to make sure that what has been said, that we maintain the budget and we advocate at the federal level, because the federal funding is a huge percentage of the school's funding. And with that being said, what, when we're looking at next year, the next 3 years, right, I think with this administration looking at cutting funding just because of the wording of how we call what we name our special programs and our interests and education for this community. I think that's what our priority should be within this very next year, to protect the budget. That's what we need to look for.
Yeah, I mean, I think my colleagues already said a lot of the budget is really kind of at the top of mind, I think, just closing out this last academic year. So I think just making sure that we're continuing to follow through and making sure we're making the right decisions for, the future, right? And making sure we have the strong foundation. And our students, I think at the end of the day, that's really what we're here for, and being able to provide students with the opportunities to succeed. Do you have other questions for us?
No, that was my only one.
Okay, well, thank you so much. We really appreciate you coming today and, being open to, in your interest in filling in the seat. Today, we do have a third candidate that we'll be interviewing. We won't be making a decision today, but we will be taking a vote this coming Thursday. So I think Mr. Angulo would probably be reaching out about just making sure that you're here, and we will be making that decision in public. So thank you so much.
Thank you for your time.
So last and final candidate, we have Alina Kalamanis. Hi, so we have a seat right up here. If you'd like to- I think that's fine, yeah. If you want to grab the questions that we have at the table.
Then I'll stay here.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, my apologies.
Perfect. No, you're fine. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Jocelyn Vargas, and tonight we'll be doing interviews to fill the position for the vacant position, trustee area 2. We'll give you 2 minutes to introduce yourself briefly. Well, we'll first do introductions of the board members, and then we'll give you 2 minutes to introduce yourself and give some opening remarks. And then we do have 5 questions which are in front of you today, and then we'll have a closing question opportunity for you to ask us any questions. Okay, so we're going to start to the right. Mr. Gonzalez.
Hi, welcome. My name's Jesus Gonzalez, and I represent Area 2.
Thank you. Hello, I'm Valerie Garcia, and I represent Trustee Area 1. Welcome.
Thank you.
Jocelyn Vargas, I represent Trustee Area 4.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Trinidad Redondo, and I am representing Trustee Area 1 as well.
Thank you.
And we have Mr. Tortes online.
Great.
Good evening. My name is Thomas Torres. I represent Area 3, Salton City and Oasis.
Thank you. So, good evening, Dr. Esparza, board members, staff. Thank you so much for this opportunity. The first thing I would like to say is I apologize for almost choking on my water before. So it's like, whoa. So, and second, if you go to the doctor and you have a sore throat and you stick out your tongue and say, my name is Alina. So that's what I use to let people know my name. So it's Czech, by the way. So my parents were from the Czech Republic. So I work for Read With Me volunteer organizations, so I'm both a volunteer and a paid staff member working for Sean Webb. I've been working for Read With Me now for almost 8 years. I just love it. I have such a passion for our mission because we are really affecting the literacy of the students in the elementary schools. So when this position opened up, I've talked to Sean, and he goes, "Sure, we think it would be a wonderful opportunity for you." Because while I've only been at the elementary schools here, I think helping, the fundamental basis of continuing to help students is really the foundation at the elementary schools. So I'm very excited to be here and have this opportunity to speak with you.
Thank you. Mr. Gonzalez?
Okay?
The governing board of education is.
Okay. That's obviously the most fundamental question. I think the role is to collaborate with Dr. Esparza to make sure that we fulfill the mission statement of the district. I mean, that really says it all, and how our focus should be on the students. So the governing board would help with policy-making decisions, budget decisions, and I think that if we take a look at it, we really need to make sure we focus on the students, because providing them with the highest quality of education, even in a time of budget issues, is really fundamental to what we need to provide for the students.
Thank you so much. So next question. What do you see as the strengths of the school district and its areas of improvement? So two-part question.
Okay, great. Part one, since I've been with Read With Me for so long, I just see the wonderful dedication of the teachers here. I think that is a core strength of the district, because these teachers, facing, difficult times. We have children who are not the most ruly. I mean, they're so used to using devices and things like that. And I just see how these teachers keep the attention of the students in the classrooms, because not only do I volunteer, when a new volunteer starts, I always go with them to the school and I observe what goes on in the classrooms and so on. And so the teachers in the school are just amazing. And it's just, and all my volunteers would probably agree with that statement. So the school district, I think besides the mission statement and the things that are still need to be implemented, I think it's been very clear that the district is focusing on the students. I do have to say, I clipped it out. I took Dr. Esparza's Your Turn from the Desert Sun, because a lot of the volunteers were asking me, what's going on, what's going on? And I think that made it very clear that the district has great leadership, both from the board and from Dr. Esparza, that we're going to overcome any deficits, and the students will always be prioritized. So if I would say that, those would probably be the top things that I would say. It's just the strength of the district and the strength of the teachers.
Thank you. Question 3, what is the relationship between the Board of Education and the superintendent?
Okay. I think we do need to collaborate, of course. We are going to be helping to set the directions, the policies, the decisions on the budgets and so on. And in collaboration with Dr. Esparza, we will set those policies and directions for the district. I think it's Dr. Esparza's job to make sure it's implemented, and that the right decisions are made that are going to be fundamentally take into consideration the students and making sure that they receive the best possible education. So we'll collaborate. I think the policy implementations rests on the superintendent to make sure that everything is fundamentally worked through the district, but we have to work together.
Question number 4. How does an effective governing board ensure opportunities for parents and committee members to express their diverse range of views to inform the board on important policy issues?
So I witnessed firsthand at the meeting I came to that, parents were allowed to come to the podium. And I think that's just so wonderful that the parents in the districts feel that they can come and do that. And even if they only speak Spanish, it was obvious that they were being heard by the board. And I was just very impressed by that. So it looks like that there's always an opportunity for parents to come and express their feelings. Like the next public hearing on books, I mean, that's going to be important for the parents if they have issues or want to see what's being done in the district. So I think that open policy that allows the parents to come into the board meetings is critical for a good governing board and district.
Thank you. Mr. Tortes?
Yes, question number 5. As a board member, how would you ensure that you stay up to date on issues affecting the district and public education as a whole?
That's a very good question. I'm subscribed to a number of education newsletters and so on, so I try to keep in place with that. I do a lot of reading with Read With Me. I really do need to keep up to date with what's going on, so I make sure that we're effectively working with our students. So what else? I'm hopefully assuming that there'll be a lot of information that you'll provide, and I'm an excellent reader, so I will spend the time needed to get up to speed on whatever the issues and policies are that I need to know that will be fundamental to the implementation of policies here at the district.
Thank you. So last question, what questions do you have for the board to help you prepare to take on this commitment if chosen?
The first question I have is, do you have simultaneous translation up there when you're there? Because I unfortunately am not a Spanish speaker. So I'm hoping that, for instance, when I was here at the meeting, that you're seeing a translation of a parent who's speaking in Spanish? No? Sorry?
Yeah. We do have someone that can provide that to board members.
Oh, you
We
do?
don't have that. I think most of us are fluent in Spanish, so we can code switch.
Okay, so I have to
But yeah,
take a
provide
crash course between now and Thursday to learn Spanish. So
No.
I think that's my my fundamental problem. So it's interesting, the reason I joined Read With Me is when I first came to the desert, I'm a member of Our Lady of Soledad, and I'm looking at opportunities, how can I help? And Roberta Klein, who started Read With Me, actually came to the masses there and recruited. So I said, I don't know Spanish. She goes, that's okay. So unfortunately, I have not taken the time to learn Spanish. So I have to admit that will be an issue. But if you can provide translation, I would be extremely grateful.
We do have headsets that we can provide the English translation.
Okay, great, thank you.
Do you have other questions for us?
Well, I guess one of the questions that got answered is you do have Zoom capability, or I don't know if it's Google Meets or Zoom. And so that's good because I know I have one commitment where I would, I can take it over technology, but I won't be here in person. So, you can all feel sorry for me. My son-in-law is an editor, and I don't know if any of you have heard of White Lotus. He and his co-editor got nominations for, Emmy nomination for White Lotus. And so the kids need a babysitter, so I have to go and babysit. And they are right now in Hawaii, so you can feel even more sorry for me. So,
That's a good problem.
yeah.
There are, there is possibly, depending on the guidelines and the laws that we follow, to make sure that we are within the law to provide Zoom options.
Okay, thank you.
So it just depends.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. We really appreciate your time and your interest in, serving the community in this seat. Today, we interviewed 3 candidates. We won't be having a discussion today. We will be having the discussion at our next public meeting, which is on Thursday. And we will be making a vote in public. So I think our staff member will be reaching out to make sure that you're here on that day. And then we will be making a decision and announcement that same day. So thank you so
very
much
much
for your time.
Thank you.
And thank you for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you. Okay, so thank you so much. So as I mentioned, we won't be discussing this today. We'll be voting at the next board meeting. So we're going to go ahead and move on to 4.1. So can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Oh, do we have to do a roll call? Yes, please.
Yes. So roll call, President Jocelyn Vargas,
Here, yeah, yes.
Clerk Valerie Garcia,
Yes.
Board Trustee Joey Acuña, Board Trustee Trinidad Arredondo,
Yes.
Board Trustee Jesus Gonzalez,
Aye.
Board Trustee Thomas Tortis,
Yes.
Superintendent Dr. Francis Esparza.
We're just voting to
Okay.
motion to close session, to end the meeting, sorry. So, so
Oh,
that's,
motion.
so we're good to go. I know. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
I don't know where we.
I'm like, wait, go to closed session. I'm like, no, wait. Okay. Thank you, everybody. Good night.